welcome to Talkin Tuesdays, the original person behind the pit. Let's see who we got here. Oh, Eduardo 187 BBQ. What's up? How's it going? Blazing Star, Higher Grillin, TFTI. We got Cherry Anchor 5280 Barbecue. Chops, Daniel Tucker, Eat With Me XYZ. I don't know if she's still in here, but hey, all right. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, there she is. Share this live. Get the link out. And yeah, so let's just say we got our special guest today. We may have a debate or two, depending on what's going on. But hopefully we learn something about this guest and we can all have open minds and open hearts and just positive vibes. What's up, Paul? All right. So without further ado, our special guest, Whitebulls Barbecue.
What up? What up? Thanks for having me, Steve. How we doing?
Yeah. Good. How's it going?
We're doing good. I'm living on the west side now. It's a whole different vibe. So we're
That's
doing
right.
good.
That's right. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So,
For sure.
What you drinking? What you drinking?
First and foremost, drinking out of that Whitebulls cup. But yes, I'm sipping on some Jack Honey, of course.
Heck yeah. Well,
Yeah.
cheers.
Cheers to that, bro.
Cheers to Tuesdays. And I just want to make sure that you're on the right tab. So to your right, do you see all the comments?
Okay, now I do.
Okay,
Sweet.
Good. So now you can see comments.
What up, Mike?
So this way you can see, who's talking to you, saying what's up. We got Blazing Star saying what's up, Chris. So
What up, brother?
For those that don't know, Whitebulls Barbecue, his name, this gentleman's name is Chris. Mr. Chris, we'll call him today. So
Mr. Chris.
but anyways,
I'll take it.
Yeah, right. So okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of like where you grew up. Actually, how about this? How about tell us where you're at right now, not like regional wise, but like you own a business or you're planning on doing stuff, where you're at this point in your life.
Okay. So we're going Quentin Tarantino. All right, I got you.
Yeah.
We're going back to front. All right. So right now, I live in Auburn. Like, I have to say that because it was a big part of like what's going on right now. But I just recently moved to California and Northern California, and it's been a crazy journey. But at this point, like I'm selling 5 different seasonings. And we're about to get a big restock in, so we're like right where we need to be right now. And we've been blessed to have the support of people in the community and stuff, and it's been great for Whitebulls to be able to get this far. But right now, we're just focused on retailing, and we also have a partnership with a local place called Aketta's, which is also in Auburn, California. So I'm gonna go back to serving food soon again, and that's gonna be a new leg of what's going on, which is when we go back to the beginning, I used to own a restaurant, so I'm glad to get back to that.
Okay,
That's where we're at right now.
So like a pop-up type thing, yeah.
So like it's a market. So picture like
Okay.
just like your local market, they make like really good homemade pies, like all that type of stuff, pot pies. They even sell like Wagyu burgers.
Oh,
But they're like right in between San Fran and Truckee and Tahoe. So like
okay.
they get that crowd like headed up there, and they just have like a more higher end type thing going on. Like it's hard to explain other than like they just strive for high like quality. Like that's all they do. From the stuff they carry, like they carry a few seasonings in there. Like they have like the Jacobin salt and stuff like that. So when I came to the area, I went there to link up with them to get them to sell my rubs. And then from there they were like, hey, we'd love to have you in our store. So basically it's like a market store, like a local market for the
Okay.
community, but it's really like a specialty market at the same time for like pies and stuff like that for people going to Tahoe and Truckee. So like I'm actually going to start a barbecue division in their market. So it's kind of like a pop-up, but not really. It's more stationary. It's like
It's gonna
more of
be
a
there.
staple thing. Yeah, Thursday to Sunday every week. Like I'm going to be selling ribs, wings, and brisket style tri-tips. So we'll get into that though. So I knew you'd love that one. That was a great alley oop right there. So
We'll get to that. We'll get there. So
what's up,
okay,
everybody?
so Northern California. So for the folks that don't know, Auburn is like a little past like a Sacramento area.
Yeah,
Well, a little past, but depending on the direction you're coming from. So, but I know that you had like a podcast going on your YouTube, and so what I'm getting at, so you moved recently from Philadelphia originally, yeah,
yeah,
and you were actually thinking about going to Texas or Cali.
yeah, man.
So,
And if my memory serves me right, that means you've listened to the podcast. So I appreciate that.
well, I try to do some homework.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you should. I've been telling people all day, you're a great interviewer, man. I've been watching these. I watched a couple of them. I was on the after party for Grow Arc, so like I
Nice, nice.
respect your journalism or whatever we want to call it, man. That's pretty dope. That's what's
I
up.
guess
But
I
yeah,
just call it nosiness.
there you go. Hey, whatever you want to call it, right? It's all about perspective. But yeah, so needless to say, yeah, I had the podcast. It was called Feast or Famine. It's something I was actually originally gonna do with Hunnis Cuts, if you know him. He used to be an ambassador for Whitebulls and he's Traeger guy. He's a cool dude. Shout out to Taylor. But we were kind of always joking about doing Feast or Famine and like me and him just he's doing his thing and that's good. So we always like joked about it was never a thing. So I hit him up the one day. I was like, yo, I'm actually gonna do it just for shits and giggles, just so you know, bro. Like, and then like this kid Preston, he's
Impressed with
actually
him.
the brother of one of my ambassadors, Peyton, who lives in Texas, in
Okay.
Houston, and he's autistic, and we've been really working with him to show people like autistic people, unfortunately, man, especially as adults, are really like counted out of society. So like when we brought him aboard, it was to show people like not only is he a good cook regardless, but
Right.
this kid's got autism, but he's high functioning
That you're
and like
functional. Yeah.
yeah, we can't be writing these people off. Like they're positive, impactful people in society, and they're just getting glazed over. So bringing him on the team was a real blessing, man. And I literally flew to Houston with my buddy Ray, Barbecue King. Shout out to SoCal. And we literally presented him with a White Bulls work shirt and just kind of spent a week with him. And that's when we started the podcast. So when I was there, his brother Preston had like these aspirations of starting a podcast. He's got like this really like Howard Sternish voice. I'm like, all right, like let's give it a shot. Like I was really close with his brother and his mom, so like we're like, let's do it. We just hit record kind of like we did tonight, and we just kind of rolled with it. And we just had like 3 or 4 subjects we wanted to talk about. And it was cool because at that exact point, I hadn't seen many people with a barbecue podcast. Like I knew of like Reload, and I'm not sure if Malcolm Reed had his yet. So like I knew that they were starting to be more of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
2021 was a year of a lot of like trial and error for White Bulls. And I wouldn't
For,
say that the podcast failed, but like it was just the setting was hard to really maintain because I loved Preston's voice and like the way that we could flow, but
right.
we never really filmed it like a true like people want to see now on YouTube or even in this type of platform on live or whatever. Like so it was like hard to keep that going. I felt like the content was definitely there, but I just want to present it better. So me
Right.
and
Right.
Preston have talked about, maybe linking up for a few weeks and just filming a few at a time. Like me go to Texas a few times this year and just like kind of get it going again and make more of a production of it because like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it died, but it was just like, nah, I had to move to Cali. I had to do a lot more business stuff. So I put it on the back burner for a minute.
So that question, so Cali, so it was more business oriented for you rather than just like a choice. It was kind of like, well, you probably like I'm speaking for you, like I got more things out here than I would right here right now. Okay.
Absolutely, bro.
Cool,
Shout
cool.
out to everybody. First of all, I'm doing
Yeah.
a cheesesteak wit just to answer whiskey and hard
Yeah,
tack.
whiskey and hardtack. That's a beard product company. She's one of my friends. They own it, Holly
Love
and
it.
Dawn, and they're from PA. And yeah,
Okay.
so she knows what she's talking about all the PA stuff. So,
Yeah.
but
So I got off track. I was trying to read questions. So what was
oh
that
yeah,
last
yeah.
question, bro?
And no worries. I got you handled on that. And anytime I get any important questions that might be relevant to the conversation, I'll go ahead and I'll highlight them up like Mr. Peter Lawrence right here. Love Chris's
I love
energy.
Peter Lawrence,
Yeah,
man.
and
Great
there you
guy.
go. So just, throwing it out there. But so back to that PA thing. So, okay, born and raised Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All right. So, uh, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So
Yeah,
tell me.
that's
Tell me.
instantly what comes to mind, right? I swear to God,
So
like, it even comes to mind for me because I know it's such a cliche thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
so it's just funny that even people from Cali, like, it instantly resonates. What a great classic show, but, yeah, so he's from West Philly, by the way. Will Smith is from, Overbrook, which is West Philly. That's why his company's name is Overbrook Productions, so people
Okay.
from Philly, we love to rep it for for
Right,
eternity.
right, right. So, okay. So how what's your age, by the way?
I'm 30. I just turned 30 in
Oh,
August
wow,
not
just a
long ago.
baby.
Yeah,
So,
thanks, bro.
okay, so
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 yeah,
growing up there.
alright, so I'm from Philly, born and raised, right? Do we wanna go into, like, the story now? Because 'Cause I'll give you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
yeah,
please,
so
that's kinda
born and
where I was
raised in
coming from.
Philly. I was actually originally a Jersey kid. A lot of people don't know that. I'm from, Burlington, New Jersey, kinda Trenton, New Jersey area.
Okay.
Um, and when I was about 9 or so, my family moved to Philly. And yeah, man, like just even still, it's so close to Philly, it's right across the bridge. So like we just grew up diehard Eagles fans, Flyers fans, the whole nine, Sixers,
Nice.
Phillies for sure. I got the Phillies tattooed on me. Like we're just crazy like that. So like I take a lot of pride in being from Philly, but man, like as I grew up, it was kind of hard, bro. Like it's not the most positive environment of all time. I love you, Philly. You know I do. But yeah, like I just started trying to get myself into a more positive space. Like I was running around the streets and just kind of being a knucklehead, and people know some of these people know that I used to be a rapper. Like it's just like a whole thing. So it was like I had to start, I have kids, I have 2 daughters. I don't share it with the world. I have certain reasons, but I have an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old daughter. So like at the time my youngest was just born, probably about 6 years ago almost now, like I just started kind of switching my mindset where it's like I'm never going to make it out of Philly. At that time I was 24. Like I'm never going to make it out of Philly if I don't get
Right.
smart. Like I've lost so many friends, like straight up. I can't even honestly count how many people I personally knew growing up that are dead before they were 25, 20.
That's
Like
crazy.
tragic, bro. So like I realized like damn, being 24 was already a blessing, but it's like this isn't the greatest environment. And I came up like I always bounced around in the suburbs. That's where my parents are at most of the time. But I spent a lot of time down Germantown and
Uh-huh.
Lehigh and just like North Philly and Uptown. And it's like really, really bad. Like you see shit that like you can't unsee, bro. So you get desensitized to it, but you also get hip to it. Like, yo, I got to get out of here. Like, if you look right now, Philly's got like 600 homicides this year, or in 2021.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
that kind of tells the tale of what I'm saying. But
Mhm.
I'm saying all this to say, like, I had to find something to like sit me down, bro, and like give me that peace of mind. And my buddy Chris, he bought a house and he's like, yo, bro, come over, check out the house. I went over there and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he has this big offset smoker in his backyard. And it was a Google moment, bro, because we're from Philly. We don't know shit about barbecue, truthfully.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, yo, what is that? And we look it up, reverse flow offset smoker. He's like, all right, come back next Saturday. I'm gonna have a brisket ready. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what that is or what you're talking about, but let's do it. I get there and it just looks like a brick, bro. Like, like think of that you're foreign to like brisket and it's the first time you see it, kind of looks like a rock with the bark. I'm like, bro, what is that? Like, and he was like, dude, just wait. And he cuts into it and I see the smoke ring and I'm like, is it raw? Like, we were that
Like, what is that?
yeah, bro, and as soon as I, like, bit it, it was love at first bite, bro, like, I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
say that when I tell this story because from that moment, it gets real fast, like, that was all the mushy stuff, it gets
There you
real
go.
fast from there, like, I bought my first smoker for $8 on OfferUp, swear
And
to
ho
God on
and how
everything
old
I
were
love.
you? And how old were you?
I was 25. I was 24, I would wanna say, yeah, 24
Okay.
years old, somewhere around 24, 25. And that was the same year that the Eagles actually, maybe I was like 26-ish actually, if I think about it, because
Okay.
that's the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And it's
Nice.
crazy the connection between that because I was living down Mayfair. I lived down Mayfair. Shout out to Mayfair. Mayfair don't play fair. But I lived in Mayfair, Northeast Philly for like 8 years. And there's a section in Philly, if you're from Philly, to people watching, it's Cotman and Frankford. And that's where they do a lot of pep rallies for the Eagles and stuff. It's just like a known area for the turn up. There's a bar every 20 feet, and it's just rowdy Eagles fans. And like, bro, it's a vibe. So I was living a block from there behind the Mayfair Diner. And like, I just was going down to the suburbs to my parents' house where I left my smoker because I didn't even have a fence in my front yard. Like, I lived on the corner street, so mad people walk through my stuff. Like, needless to say, I started making a brisket every single weekend that entire year, and I probably failed 10 of them, you know, like just doing it on a Weber Smoky Mountain wannabe. It was like a Brinkman. And I'm like, you know,
Right.
doing the real fire and all that stuff. And the brisket started flowing, and I'll speed this process of the story up. But needless to say, I went from just doing that and getting passionate about it for about 2 years. Then I had this job at this glue factory, and that was the last job I've worked until now. And that was a pivotal place because I met this dude named Tim, Tim Allen, I think his name is. No, Tim Walker. His name is Tim Walker. He's a judge for the Kansas City Barbecue Society. He has
Oh,
been for like
nice.
20 years. And he just by chance brought up brisket. I'm like, yo, and I am getting a gritty tattoo, by the way. You already know the vibes. But just to answer that question. But
There
I
you
would
go.
start bringing Tim brisket once a week, and he would come in at 6 in the morning. So I'd cook a brisket on Sunday. Monday morning, he'd have 2 slices of brisket in foil. He had this toaster oven on his desk, like a true fatty. So shout out to Tim for that. But I would always put the 2 slices in there in foil and put my the rub on it, what became the rub today. A little sprinkle on top too, just because it was left over. And I'd heat it up to like 200ish. He would come in, he'd take a bite, he'd come over at lunch and tell me how it was. For 12 weeks that went on, and he was like, it's too much ash. You need to figure out how to smoke better. Because I told
Nice.
him to be a snob, like, you know, judge me like I'm competing because I want to do the hardest shit first because I'm insane like that. I go against the grain. So needless to say, man, like the 12th time finally he was like, yo, I don't know what you did. I don't want to know. Like, I just want to say, like, that would place very highly at very high competition barbecue. Like, whatever it is, that's the rub right there. And boom, the rub for beef was born.
Nice.
6 months later, I quit that job because I was selling Jordans. Like, that was a passion of mine, and it became so lucrative in 2018 that I quit my job.
That's
And then for a
crazy.
year, I was trying to figure out, like, do I want to keep selling Jordans or not? Because the market was really weird. A lot of rich kids, their moms and dads just give them the credit card and they go get bots to buy them 200 pairs of Jordans. It's bullshit. People that love Jordans know. But long story
That's
short, I'm like,
nuts.
what am I gonna do with this money I've curated off of this? And how will I make it impact my children? Like, I have to start thinking about legacy. I have to start thinking about getting out of Philly. Like, I'm raising my kids in not the greatest neighborhood. Like, you know, just what am I gonna do? And everybody eats, right? Some of us eat 10 times a day, you know. So I was like, I love my barbecue. I know I'm damn good at it.
Mhm.
Um, and man, like, I just was like, what the hell would I call it? And I'm like, gotta be Whitebulls because my whole life, you know, hanging out down the hood, I hate to say it, but I was like one of the only white kids. So when they would ask them like, "Yo, who cooked this barbecue?" They'd be like, "Oh, my white bull cooked it." And it's just like, if you think about it too, white bull is a cow. So obviously that's why I really did it because beef is my favorite. But like, it's a double entendre thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people in Philly, it resonated because that's the slang. So like, my come up was quick because the name was so genius to the region. Like, I'll forever be Philly just because of this name, bro. So like,
That's
needless
cool.
to say, I went from cooking in the backyard to straight to a takeout place. And if anybody from Philly's watching, Bridesburg Commissary, I have my own takeout. You could get Grubhub or you could come pick it up, but there was nowhere to sit, and people were giving me hell for it. And I'm like, yo, look, I just started out. So needless to say, like December came around like 2019, and the start of December, I'm like, I need to make a move. Well, out of the clear blue sky, a place called the Bull Tavern, that's fate right there,
Ah,
calls me and was like, "Yo, we need somebody to take over like the restaurant side, and we just want to serve the liquor. Like, we're looking for a partnership, and we've been hearing your names ringing around here like crazy." So they're like, "Yeah, come over and have a meeting." I got in there and started like I took over their basically like their restaurant. That went great for like 4 months. I was selling brisket style cheesesteaks. Brisket style tri-tip cheesesteaks, tri-tip cheesesteak, I just call it, but gotta say it for namesake because of the context here. But that I was selling wings, I was selling pulled pork, ribs, brisket, smash burgers, you name it. Like, I had a restaurant for real going, and that went great for about 4 months until what was it like April when COVID came. And
Yeah,
when
like
that
March,
came, like,
actually, like March.
yeah, so like we didn't really close till like April in PA. I think it was like April 7th or
Right,
something like
everything
that.
was kinda weird for a month.
Yeah, and I'm literally standing in my shed at my house, and like the world is supposedly ending, and I'm like, what do I do? My business is done, bro. Like I put everything I ever had into it. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
was like week to week with my restaurant, slowly getting like ahead. So when
Yeah.
that came, it was like, yo, wow. So when that happened, I was standing in my shed. I had like $100 to my name. I paid my phone bill, kept my Instagram alive, and I just started cooking with the rest of the $50 worth I had. I went to the store and got food, and
Right.
people were still hype about it. They're like, "Yo, like you're not cooking no more at the restaurant." I'm like, "Nah, I'm doing YouTube and I'm doing content." Then I was like, "I got to do something." I started taking all the flavors that I already had on my meat, like at the restaurant, and I just started bottling them and naming them because the rub was the only one that really had a name. You know what I mean? Because of the
Mhm.
context of that, the way it kind of was born. So, excuse me, I just had like all these. I had like four different rubs that I used every day in the restaurant. I'm like, okay, this one's pulled hog, this one's Rack City, and this one is Bird Gang, and this
And
one's
they're
already
ones
been
that
done.
you've created, right? Is that
Yeah, so like yeah, I was just creating them in the restaurant as like, I'd come in the morning and make like a pound or two of it, maybe three, just, make a batch every 2 days or so and just season everything pork with this, everything
Mhm.
ribs, specifically ribs with this, all my potatoes get seasoned with like that kind of stuff. So like when I thought about it, I'm like, I need to bottle these and sell it because I've been teasing like like samples for a while, just like loyal ass followers. I'm like, yo, dude, like who wants some free samples? Fuck it. Like I'm just making these rubs in my kitchen and I have these flavors. Who wants to try it? And people are like, let's try it. And they're like little tiny bottles, bro, like 6 ounces with the red cap. Like, yo, if somebody watching this remembers that, I love you straight up. Because it went from that really quick to like making them by the hundreds and now having like labels made and I'm producing them by like the 200, 300 a day sometimes. I'm like, yo, this is getting insane. So fast forward that whole year of 2020, it got to be like September, and that's how I met Eduardo. Shout out to Eduardo, my brother for life. You met him in Texas. He's a great
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I was so glad that y'all were there too, because I was like, we need to like everybody needs to be cool. Like I
Yeah.
don't like this idea that any of us have beef is so silly, bro.
Well, I've
But
got
needless
beef.
to
It's
say,
just it's tri-tip beef
we have
that's
beef
reverse
over beef.
seared.
Yeah. Hey, look, reverse here, it is great. We're
We'll
gonna get
get
to
there.
that.
We'll get
I'm
there.
about
We'll
to
get
I'm about to wrap this up though, because we're
It's
getting
alright.
there. So I started traveling to Cali, and I first started hitting up Eduardo. He was a part of Whitebulls Barbecue, and my boy Barbecue King, a part of Whitebulls Barbecue. I love y'all forever. Greatest dudes. Like, you know how it goes, bro. You find friends for life in this, like. And I started going out there. I'm literally sleeping at their crib. So like, it's just a different kind of respect. And I'm like, yo, like these dudes really believe in me. It's time to turn up. So like, we started doing pop ups. The first pop up we did the tri-tip cheesesteak, bro. Like it sold out in 40 minutes. It was a 5 hour event, basically in the hood in San Bernardino. Now, picture I'm from Philly. I don't know shit about San Bernardino. Like we pull up and I'm like, yeah, we're about to kill this event. Yeah, I'm mad confident. I just got off the plane. I'm in Cali the first time ever. I get there and I'm like, huh? Like what, bro? Like this?
Right.
This is the place? And I know if Barbecue King's watching, man, he would be cracking up right now because that was the look we gave each other. And like we got out and we made it happen, bro. And people came to basically the hood and got this food. And it blew up from there. Like then I started going to Florida. I went to Texas. I went to Texas to see Peyton and really like get content with him and present him his shirt
Right, right.
and just get to know him better.
That's cool.
And as I started traveling, I was like, you hit the nail on the head when we started, bro. I love Philadelphia, but if I'm trying to make a legacy for my kids, like I said, I started this for, then I got to turn up. I got to be out here. And it took me a year to really figure out where I was going to go. And my boy Chris, man, this dude's a legend. Like, he is the one that showed me NorCal. And I always knew that California was a great barbecue, like, state in general. But, like, NorCal is just a beautiful piece of America, period. Like, from
Yeah.
the landscape to the people to just the respect and love I get here, it was like humbling, bro. I was like, wow, like this is where I need to be. Like, when you know, not
Right,
just for
right.
the product, but personally, you know what I mean? Like, I had to get over that hurdle of Philadelphia. Like, I loved it, but it was time to move on. And yeah,
So
needless to say, like
real
now I'm
quick,
here.
real quick to interrupt your story. I totally forgot, and and I'm thinking, oh boy, we have to get to tons of topics here. So,
Mhm.
but Peter Lawrence, I actually, so you were saying all your offsets, you were saying the smoker, you learned on, and you got your coals down, and you got all that, the
Yeah,
Traeger thing. So how
yeah.
did that? How did you end up going? Well, I'd rather smoke on a Traeger.
All right, I love this. I knew this would come up, and actually, I forgot to mention that I was originally with Pitbull. So
Okay, you know what? That's right.
yeah,
I remember in some of your videos it was saying that, and then it dropped off real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Okay,
So I was cooking everything with offsets, like kind of doing traditional, of course. And then my boy E, he was just like, yo, like I'm about to get this pit boss, bro. Like that just looks like too much work. Like I'm about to get this pit boss and see what it's about. It's like $200 at Walmart. I'm like, all right. I went over there one day, and sure enough, it kind of blew my mind how simple it was.
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah,
the guy that would sleep next to my smoker, like literally,
right,
like because you got to babysit your fire sometimes. So I'm just like,
yeah,
I was mind blown, bro. So I went and bought one like the next day. Once again, you know what I mean? I was like in love right away. I was like, oh yeah, and I still had both. But I started to really get my name on Instagram with pit boss because like I just realized there was like a community for it. I was like,
right, right, right,
oh,
right,
okay. Like I used to actually post on my music page pictures of my brisket like way back when, like 2016. You know what I mean? So I
right, right,
finally
right.
started my page, and I realized that this was a big community, especially for pellets, and there was nobody really doing it. So I started getting bigger with that. At the restaurant, I was serving out of the pellets, and then actually, you
I'm
there?
here. I'm just featuring
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah. And then so basically Benny Kendrick started hitting me up, Kendrick Barbecue, and he was like, yo, love what you're doing at the restaurant. That's dope.
Nice.
Stuff to that effect. And we just kind of formed a relationship, and he just helped me get the Traeger, quite honestly. Like I always
That's
thought
that's
Traeger
the
was
best.
better.
Yeah, that's the most. That's an awesome story right there.
No, it is. And I'm not afraid to tell it. Like I think people
Right.
think I might be, but I'm not. Like I'm it's all love. Like so I live my truths, man. And that guy really helped me. And he took me like to Traeger, so to speak. And from
That's
there,
crazy.
it is what like, everybody's doing their thing at this point. But like I was on Traeger for a year, and I love Traeger. I still use my Traeger. Like we're Traegered out. Anybody sees my stuff, we're Traegered out. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's still in your profile, like on IG, saying
yeah,
Traeger and
yeah, I'm always
yeah.
repping it. But
Right, right.
I just see a different kind of vision
A
for
different
what
way you want
Whitebulls
to
are
go.
trying to be. Yeah, man. Like and that's no disrespect to anybody at Traeger. Like Jeremy Andrus, great dude. I talk to him. I wouldn't say frequently, but we talk in DMs here and there. Like not to be name dropping, but I say that because it's like it's that kind of company. Like you could reach Jeremy.
Right, right.
Like you know what I mean? So it's a great company. It's just I'm trying to figure out where I want to go with it, and that
No,
was
I
around the
totally hear you because it's
yeah
like, like I love my
because of
Webers.
exclusivity, man. Like
I love my
you're tied
Webers,
to
and
that.
if like a char griller came around, then I was like, what? I don't want to be necessarily tied down unless I really believe in that product, or whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah,
not necessarily believe, but like in your case, like you're not like I guess what maybe correct me if I'm saying this wrong, right? So Traeger, you did this, your kind of social media kind of popped off a little bit,
yeah,
and then it's like you're kind of like, I don't want to be like the social media guy, just that guy. I want to be out there. I
yeah,
want to from the very
yeah,
first thing that you started in this live, you were saying about the restaurant,
yeah,
you
bro.
like to cook for people.
Yeah,
So
man.
that's
That's my
that's
love
kind of
language. Like if I cook for you, even if it's the public, you know what I mean? Like I just love the reaction. You know it. We all
yeah,
know
yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like when
yeah,
somebody eats your food
absolutely.
or they come back in the bar and they're drunk and they had to tell you like, "Yo, that was the best fucking burger I ever ate, bro." Like, I'll beat up 3 bums for 1 more, you know what I mean? And you're like, "Nah, bro, like I'm closing for the night." But like that's a real thing somebody said to me like, "Bro, it's like that there's nothing that's high on life, like, that's a natural high that if you cook and you love it, we all know it, you know what I mean? It's just euphoric when people love what you do, so, like, yeah, that's my original passion, like, that's what really made me start the Rubs thing, and then the Rubs thing kinda turned me into more of a social media guy because obviously I'm doing self-promotion, but, like, Yeah, like I'm still kind of that guy, and I always will be. I wear a couple hats, obviously, with this, but like at the end of the day, I see myself more as a mogul. Like honestly, like as somebody that's really trying to change what people think of when you think of barbecue rubs or the prototype of what barbecue people are. Like you go to my page and it's like almost all trap music. Like that's who I am. Like that straight up. Like and I
Right,
think
right.
that's the best version of you is the real version. You know what I mean? And I think
Absolutely.
I'll be honest too, like when I was with Traeger, like I was just trying to be a lot more like neat is the best way to put it. You know what I mean? Like
Well, you had to represent something, you
yes,
know?
because I was doing my job literally. Like, I'm not just representing just white bulls. Like, I got to watch what I say and all that great stuff and be a super professional because ultimately I'm representing that umbrella. So, yeah, man, like I had to tone it back a little bit and I kind of touched on it on the podcast, but it's like I felt like I lost a step a little bit personally because like I need that edge. Like that's just who I am. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I was like, I need to think about the big picture and be like, if I'm gonna be me, I need to get back to thinking about cooking. Like COVID's kind of evening out a little bit now. You know, it's up and down these days, whatever. But like
Right, right.
whoever knows, right? But like the windows were opening though, and I was seeing like it's not just this like social media Chris from Whitebulls entity that it had mostly become because of COVID. You know, I had to kind of
Mhm.
step back and reevaluate for sure.
'Kay. So, it
I love
is
all y'all in the chat, by the way, for real.
it's
I'm
7 o
catching it. I'm
it's 7
catching it.
o'clock. So we're 30 minutes in. How about, we actually we got a good, backstory, a good story about who you are and everything else. So, let's get down to
Let's
brass
do
tacks
it.
here. Let's
Let's
get
do
down
it.
to brass tacks. So your page, your stories, you're all about like one of the first not like personal interactions, but interactions, but like your content, I believe was on TikTok. And I used to see your videos and they would be really short and it would say like haters, whatever. So let's talk about that first. Let's just go in that part of it. So you always say you're always not, I can't say always, I use that very lightly, a very light term, but you frequently talk about don't let the haters get you down, don't whatever and all this stuff and yeah. So when did this first come out? I mean, obviously you talked about Philly growing up, I mean, not like you got beat up every day, but hard life, right? Different things
You're a
that
funny
kind of,
guy. You're a
so
funny guy.
no, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah,
it was like a
it wasn't easy. Nah,
haters have always been there,
facts.
but
Okay, I see
so
where
so
you're going.
so what makes you talk about it in the social media world, like
Mm,
in your barbecue community world?
I feel
So
like
when did you first feel like you kind of had that like, oh, wait a minute.
yeah, so like that's the I made it moment in a sense. People say like when you start like you first start realizing you have haters, like for real haters, like it's a bittersweet moment, because like not to be funny, but it's like I love it in a sense. It really does fuel me. Like growing up, I'd be on the basketball court. Oh, this white kid with glasses, he's a geek. I'm about to dunk on him. And then like suddenly I'm dunking on somebody. Like I got the edge. I was born with it. You get what I'm saying? Like it's in me, not on me. Like so I always had this kind of attitude, bro, where like my slogan was the best damn barbecue ever. Like, come on, bro. Like I know I gotta stand on that. Like people are gonna take that cocky, like, oh, this kid's just some cocky ass dude. Like,
So
nah,
okay,
man.
okay. So pause
Oh
that.
yeah, I'm okay, go ahead, go ahead.
I want you to explain that because
Okay.
really, in all actuality, your best barbecue may not be my best barbecue, right?
Facts.
My best barbecue may not be Blazing Star Barbecue's best barbecue,
Facts.
or and so on and so on and so on. So
Well,
what do you mean about your slogan, about what you say the best barbecue? What are you saying to everybody else? Like, are you saying that no one else is any better, or what is it that you're saying?
like I said, growing up just always scratch and clawing, like that's just the mentality. But like it really means like it sounds like it's inviting you to a fight. You know what I mean? Like my
Yeah,
barbecue is the best, and everybody can go somewhere. But like, what it really means is kind of what you just touched on. Is like if I'm gonna make barbecue, every time I make barbecue, I want to be the best of my what I think is the best barbecue. It's like I'm
absolutely.
challenging myself when I say it, because like I said, now I gotta stand on it. You can't say some shit like the best damn barbecue ever and then go make some mediocre shit. So it's kind of a
Right,
challenge to
right, right.
myself. Like, yo, bro, like you set the bar way too high to like chill today. Like, nah, you gotta go make a brisket grilled cheese. Like, I don't care if it's raining or like whatever's going on. So people took that and they're like, oh, this dude's fucking cocky. Like, let's make memes about him. Let's, and I eat it up. You know what I mean? So that's really where I love it, honestly. I really do. People start making memes about me. There's a meme page. It's hilarious. Some people might know about it, some don't, but it's irrelevant because when that happened, it was like, oh, okay, like people don't like everything I'm doing. Like I'm getting under some people's skin. Like, okay, I'm making a way now. Like whether they were maybe some low key Traeger people or maybe they're people that were mad I left Pit Boss. Like the world will never know.
Right.
All I know is we don't count haters, let the haters count, just like that French Montana song says. So, like that is a great saying because at the end of the day, bro, if you're doing anything you love and you're happy doing it and you're spreading positivity and maybe you're a little cocky, people are gonna be like, fuck that guy, like ultimately. So like I knew it was coming. And when people started making memes, I just started jumping on TikTok and being like, let's address the haters. Like
There you
let's
go. Okay.
let's do it. Like you don't like the way I do shit. Don't you know what I mean? Like, why you gotta comment on it? So, like,
You
I
don't even
just
gotta
started
watch
kind
it.
of trolling
You don't even
people.
have to watch it. You just flip right through,
Exactly,
right?
bro. Like, I said it a few times before. Like, there's 1,000 recipes that I don't like. I think it's really weak because I come from such a negative place that I've had to become such a positive person over the journey of this. I think it's so weak to have a platform where we can connect with one another and show love and build each other up to be like, oh, I don't fucking like that recipe. It's like, come on, bro. Like, now, there's a difference between saying I wouldn't do that recipe, that's cool. But it's like I felt like some people were being too much of haters about it. And I was just like, I don't understand the hate. So let me have some fun with it. I'm gonna start trolling people. And
Well, some
when I started posting that on TikTok, I didn't realize how many people were gonna hate it. And I
well,
thought it was
see,
hilarious from there. Like,
and so I guess that's the thing too. So like let's just say as for me and you, me and you, or whatever it is that I don't even think there was like that, but it was like
nah.
it was just a thing. But
Well,
what
you're
what
standing on what you stand on, and I'm standing on what I stand
right,
on. And I
right.
think that's
But
beautiful. Yeah.
what I want to convey is that oftentimes we get hit so much in life or just with one thing, one subject, like let's bring that up, the tri-tip brisket. Okay. We'll call it a Trisket, right?
Yeah, I
So
do like that name. I don't know who started that, but I do like that name secretly. I will never use it because I don't. It just looks weird to type.
tons of people have done it, and that's
Yeah,
fine. But
yeah,
you've really tried to make that your thing in a lot of your videos,
yeah.
in a lot of things that you do.
You said
So
when did it start?
so I believe yours started like in 2020, right?
So that
You know,
recipe actually started in 2019. You could
okay,
go all the way back to I think it's like May 6th or
right.
something like that. At the end of 2019 ish, I was at an Eagles game. I was with Q Barbecue and my boy E at the time. I drove my truck down there. I took my pit boss down there. I was like fresh into the pit boss game. Like I'm a cool guy now. I'm gonna take my pit boss places and tailgate. Coming from Philly, that's how we get down. So I was tailgating and I happened to pick up a tri-tip. I couldn't believe I found one. So like here's the backstory behind it. For everybody that thinks I've ever tried to disrespect tri-tip, it's quite the opposite.
Well, see, and here's what I want to get at this point. So
Yeah,
what I think though too is that and this goes for everyone in the community or everyone in life, really, any human being. Oftentimes we get can get hit a lot, whether it be emotionally, physically, whatever it is, and we become extremely defensive
mhm,
especially if it's one particular thing,
for sure.
like I said, like say the tri-tip thing. So Oh God, here's that dude with that Trisket dude, whatever. Oh my
Hmm.
God. And for you to keep hearing it, it's just like, dude, all right, So
Yeah, because
so
like, bro, that's
wh-
like I said, legacy is everything to me. So like
however,
everybody knew me for that recipe.
we also need, not, and I'm not just saying you as in we, I'm saying
Yeah.
all of us. I believe that we need to understand that other people may have not been hit as often as we have.
Mm.
So with comments like, let's just say, um, oh, how's that Trisket? You might end up going, shut the, like what?
Yeah, bro,
Right.
because it's yeah,
But like for example, I think you'll know what I'm saying. There's a street dude that'll understand street, right? But a books guy that might not understand street. But the
facts.
street guy also understands that he might not understand the book. So what I'm saying is oftentimes we should probably say, okay, take a step back. Am I getting hit? Instead of the reacting to it
Yeah,
right away. So and this is what I want to convey, and this is why we're talking about this, because we both could sit there and go, okay, we'll take a step back and let's just be positive about it, right?
yeah.
Like,
Like we're talking about meat, bro. And for the record, all I was gonna say was that like the only reason I ever took it personal was because that was what I really built myself to that
and
point
there you go,
with.
exactly, and
And
people
it was
kept
like what bothered me
knocking it,
most was why aren't we trying to figure out why I do it that way and why you do it that way and let's talk about it. So like
right? And that's kind of what I want to do.
when I made that brisket style tri-tip, because that's what started all this, I made it for a cheesesteak that ultimately became the tri-tip cheesesteak. And what we do in Philly, I know you're gonna kill me
I'm
for
kidding.
going
I'm
over
kidding.
135, but I'm just saying, in Philly we do ribeyes and we do sirloins, and that's what we do. We brown it on a flat top, we brown
Yeah,
it in cast
absolutely.
iron, we make cheesesteaks. Who doesn't love a cheesesteak, right? So in my mind, when I looked it up, I did my research because I really love this shit, and I was like, oh, okay, tri-tips a bottom sirloin. Okay, so you know what? I got 5 hours to burn. I make briskets every other day. I'm just gonna
You,
try to make it
you,
like a
you,
brisket
you,
and see
you
what's up.
know, you
We
know,
already had two steaks.
I can't let that go. You just said,
What?
come on, man. I got 5 hours to burn. Yep. Yeah, that you did. That you did.
I had 5 hours to burn, and that's what I did. And look, I didn't burn it. It had nice bark. It had a smoke ring. Look, when I cut it, bro, I was amazed too because it was strictly an experiment, and I was this is the whole thing about the argument, bro. Whether you're making it for cheesesteaks at 205, like my crazy ass, or you're making it at 135, all I ever wanted to convey was that tri-tip is the truth, bro. Like it's
Yeah,
that great because you can enjoy it both ways. And the only reason I ever took any of the trolling like personal from anybody really, because yeah, it was my legacy. And B, I never said that I didn't like it the
yeah,
other way.
yes. But I think you had
That's what
told me that it's
confused
the
me.
best, that you prefer it that way, right?
Yeah, I definitely troll people that I think it's better my way, but I never said I hated it the other way or that I
Right.
wouldn't cook it the other way. Like I've done it a few times. It's on my page. It's funny
So
that people gasp when they see that on my page. That's all I'm saying. It's
so
like,
how
bro,
about
like it's just
what?
a meat.
But
I love it rare too. It's
so
fine that way.
why don't we just do a thinly sliced, like medium medium cooked tri-tip cheesesteak sandwich?
Because because when you do it that way, you're not creating the effect that we're truly going for when you make a Philly cheesesteak. When you get it and it's nice and browned, the reason we use sirloin and ribeye is because the fat in there really complements the meat, even when it's well done. And it's like we're not going for the steakiness of it. We're going for that meat, like the beef flavor of it, because we're dousing it in cheese and onions, anyways, bro, on a beautiful roll. So it's just a part of a masterpiece. It's not a masterpiece itself. So, like, what I'm saying is I'm not going for the perfection of a steak with it when I'm doing that because I really want that fat to render down and coat the meat and it gives it like this smoked cheesesteak taste that you wouldn't get if it was just regular medium rare. Like it just has a sweet like bro, bro, when we meet one day cuz I'm going to make you one. You can make me your best Santa Maria ever and we're both going to have smiles on our face, bro. That's all I can say. Like
Oh, I make barbecue Steve tri-tips and they're fantastic.
there you go. And I think that's the beauty of all this is that we're not beefing, bro. We don't actually know each other. So
But
like
see,
coming
like
from
for me, so where I'm coming from in this debate or the argument about it, I'm not super uh like
TFTI, I got you, bro. Write it
so
down. Mark me down, bro. Let's
right.
get it.
So what my thing is, so kind of brought this up. It was it was tender and delicious. Absolutely. Um and Captain Ron, I don't know if you know who that is. Captain Ron, big A green egg guy, Fogo
Hmm.
guy. We were out in
Shout out to
Texas
Captain
together
Ron.
too. He and I were talking about this subject too, and he totally disagreed with me, so it was fine, but it was okay, But I was saying
Shout
that
out to Captain Ron.
I can cook a well done ribeye, and it could still be juicy, it could still be tender, it
Mm,
still be fine. It really can be.
it can.
If I cook it, right. You have to kind of know how to cook that meat. I mean, if you're going to cook it that way, you're not going to, like for example, you're not going to cook your Triscuits, right? You're not going to cook them at 350 degrees
No,
to get to 203
no,
degrees. You're not going to do that.
no.
You're going to cook it a lot slower
Right,
and
because I want
whatever.
that fat to render and get sweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But for me, the problem that I have, and this is the problem, I'm a very analytical person. So
Okay.
it's not that I can't say that it won't taste good, because taste is really all relative and you never know. I can't say that it's not
I'm
tender,
saying.
because really, I mean, and this isn't a shot at anyone, but I've had really overcooked stew meat that's absolutely tender, beef,
Yeah.
like beef cheeks or anything like
Yeah.
that. Yes, I can get that.
I
It's
love
not, but
this so much. I
that's not
do.
what I'm saying. But my argument for this, for not doing it like a tri-tip or a brisket, is like, and like I said in my thing, because it's not in that the intramuscular fat is not, it's not like it is in a brisket. So there
No.
really would be no reason to, other than the reasons that you want to do it, like
Well,
the effect that you wanted to get. Do you see what
here's
I'm
the
saying?
thing. There's 2 points I want to make in this debate that are very important for my argument. Like I said, we do cheesesteaks with it. Like, I think it's good. Like, this is what I'm saying, Steve, is that this fucking thing like became its own thing based off that cheesesteak. Like, because obviously I was doing a brisket style to put in the cheesesteak, right? And then I started kind of doing just the brisket, I mean, just the tri-tip to see the response, and people were loving it and just doing it to the point that it was annoying other people. Like, so I was like, okay. I was like, then I need to stick with this. But at the end of the day, like that took on a life of its own because it was always about the cheesesteak for me. And like I said,
You're right. It
when
wasn't
when
about
you when you
necessarily the
make the
cut of meat.
brisket style tri-tip, it's for a tri-tip cheesesteak because it's gonna get diced up really fine. Like you
Well,
want it
see,
to mend in with the cheese and the onions. It's a
it's crazy.
blend.
So how you're explaining
So it's
this, and
not well done. You get what I'm saying?
well, I'm gonna be
Because it's
honest,
not in
it's
steak
overcooked,
form. Like it's
and
cooked for a cheesesteak.
yes, it is overcooked, and a
This guy.
brisket. Hold on. But
You're
a
a funny
brisket,
guy, bro. I love
technically,
it.
like I said, I'm very analytical. It has nothing to do with the opinion of it, or whether or not it's good, or whatever. But technically, like a brisket is overcooked because it has to be. It can't be a steak because
Okay,
it's
so I
like
get what you're saying in a sense. Like
it
you could
has to
cook a
be.
brisket to 140, it's gonna be a fucking doorstop,
But
right?
damn well you cannot cook a brisket at 135 and be like,
Right,
this is some tasty ass
right.
brisket.
Yeah,
Or for example, you can't take a like a flank steak to like 160, or you're
yeah,
chewing basically jerky, you know.
yeah,
So I mean, there's reasons for that. The thing that I love, and I think the thing that I speak like in like Cali wise and everything, the reason why I think we're very passionate about tri-tips is because it is so versatile. It
yeah.
is insanely versatile.
So
And don't
good.
get me wrong, Grill Girl, Hey Girl Hey, she's done a brisket, Trisket or whatever. We got Meat Church that just recently did. Like I said, Captain
Keep it
Ron.
going.
There, I mean,
Keep it going.
I'm just saying,
I'm
there's
just
quite,
saying. I'm not saying I'm the only person that ever did it, but I know I inspired a lot of people, bro. Like
and
I
that's
personally
fine,
thanked Matt Pittman for doing that. Like, bro,
right?
that was a nod to all the work I did putting in that recipe in the restaurant, like straight up.
But like, and
So
like I
go
said,
ahead, go ahead. My
it's
bad.
not at that point where you can say, Oh, this is the worst, horrible, driest thing I've
Nah,
ever had.
nah.
Tri-tip
It's
is
amazing,
considered
bro.
it is considered a steak,
Steve,
but
I want to challenge you.
it is
If
also
you really love tri-tip, please just do it once. Get a
I
prime or a wagyu
I
and do it
will
once.
not, because honest to God, it is
Bro,
blasphemous.
I understand that. See, that's why I love this argument because it's blasphemous to you and it should be. But it's blasphemous to me to not do it that way in a sense because
But
we've been
see,
doing that my whole life,
but
like
see,
on a
you
flat
did
top.
it. You were doing it to accomplish a certain thing.
Yes. And here's the crazy shit. Like, let me explain this. When I had that tri-tip in my hand, I'm standing in the Lincoln Financial M lot tailgating. I'm like, I have 5 hours. I'm either gonna smoke it like a brisket, which I do damn near every day, which I know, or I'm gonna try and make a steak, which we already had 2 steaks. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go wild with it. Let's do it like a brisket. And what blew my mind
Right.
was it was super tender because this one had a fat cap on it and it
Yeah.
was a prime.
And
So I
hey,
was like,
and
wait a minute,
seriously,
like this cut is almost like brisket. Sure, it's not a brisket. And I tell people all the time, like people hit me up, they smoke it 225 or 200 for 7 hours and they're like, it's dry. I'm like, of course it's dry, bro, because it's not a brisket, it's
well,
brisket style tri tip.
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's move
exactly. But
accordingly
you
here.
make a good
Like,
point. So the thing is the way you're doing it for that. Like if I okay, let's just say this for the sake of a good argument. I'll argue one. I'll do a pro on the your side of the table. So I'll say for a sandwich, like an actual tri-tip sandwich or even like your cheesesteak or anything else, I actually prefer a little over than what would normally be done. The
you know
reason
why,
being,
right?
well, the reason being is because you do have, and what you said a lot earlier was the fat renders a lot more,
Yeah.
and because there's thin
Like a
ribbons.
caramelization starts.
Well,
It's like
well,
a
there's
Maillard starts.
right, and then there's but let's say like the tri-tip as a whole, there's that thin ribbons all over of the intramuscular fat, right?
Hmm.
And when it's a medium rare, it's not rendered all the way, and
Right.
it gives that buttery flavor, that whatever.
For sure.
But when you have it on a sandwich, that it kind of has that like that weird like pull, and you'll grab a whole damn slice of tri-tip
Yeah.
out of the sandwich, and that's really annoying.
Like, is it
So
tender or is it chewy or it like it
yeah, well, exactly.
not chewy, like chewy is the wrong word, but like it's more gelatinous in a less done kind of way. Like when you eat a rare steak, it kind of has that. If you take it to like 135, that's perfect to me. Like
Yes,
the fat is like butter. There's a little more firm to it, so you could bite it real quick. If you're
but
doing
no
it like
doubt now.
125, 130, there's a little more pull, but like it's still really tender. Like
And see,
I've
and
done it. Like I love it.
like I said, I'm a very analytical person, and what I do is I like to respect um tradition and like the way things are supposed to be made in a
Yeah.
sense. So here's my thing. I would never consider doing a medium rare any kind of meat in a cheesesteak because that's not what it's
Mm,
supposed to be.
thank you, bro.
So
And
I would
that's where that
never.
was really born. I was like,
Right,
I want to make some
exactly. So
cheesesteaks. We're tailgating the Eagles game. Like, let's do
right.
this.
Like, I would never put like, me personally, that this is like, I'm a very even if it's not my tradition, I like it very traditional. So, I would never put, like, Gouda in a damn cheesesteak sandwich. I'm like,
Yeah.
why would you ever it's either provolone or Cheese Whiz or American cheese, please.
I think we used Havarti for the first
Oh,
ever
you
tri-tip cheesesteak, and it was good,
oh,
bro. Like, bro, you gotta understand, Eagles fans were like a weird cult brotherhood. Like,
yeah, yeah, I mean, I
picture
guess,
Traegerhood on steroids, bro. Like,
but like I
straight
said,
up.
I like things very, very traditional. So for me is when I say this is a tri-tip and it's a tri-tip, it's not a brisket. That's like literally only thing I'm saying is that
Yeah,
it's not and traditionally, but oh,
I
that's what I
got
was
you.
gonna say. So really back to the traditions. So in a sense, I could say, oh dear God, I'm gonna get killed here by California. So I could say this. So
CFTI, you better, bro. And I
the
see
man
Mike, you better do it too. But go ahead, brother. I'm
the
listening.
man in that in the 50s in Santa Maria that started the tri-tip the Santa
Right.
Maria tri-tip.
Santa Maria style tri-tip.
Traditionally,
Wheel
that
it
that
down.
that tri-tip cut was made into ground beef, right?
Mm,
And there was like whatever it was. So he decided to say, "Hey, at the butcher, like, dude, let me get that cut of meat, right?"
right.
And he cooked it a totally different way than what it was traditionally made for,
Facts.
or traditionally used. There you go.
So can I
So
explain that? Because you're kind of alley-ooping it to what I was gonna say.
yeah, then there you
When
go.
I
Go
had
ahead.
this cut in my hand, bro, I'm like, this is the California cut. Straight up, with all due respect, I already knew that the first time I ever saw it. This is the California cut. I'm from Philly. I'm an Eagles fan. So I want a cheesesteak. And I do Texas style barbecue, low and slow. Central Texas is my style of barbecue. That's what I learned. You know what I mean? From Harry So, who's a fucking legend. I love Harry
Yeah,
So. If
yeah,
he's ever watching this, I love you, bro. I've already
yeah.
told
He's
him he's the
he's an
greatest.
awesome dude.
Great dude. And he does the brisket style tri-tip, just for the record. But like I'm just saying, it was a way for me to tie my region, California and Texas together in one sandwich, bro. So anybody that tried this sandwich can appreciate it because it's their cut of meat or it's their style of barbecue or it's their kind of sandwich. You feel me? And that's all that was born on, bro. Straight up. So it was always about love. Period. Like so that's why I got so offensive about people talking shit about because I'm like, hold up, learn the story, bro. Like you might appreciate it. Like I didn't
Right.
do it.
But
Yeah, bro.
then again, check this out though. So this is where my thing that I was trying to say was, then again, put something out there. Who cares about what other people say, really, in all actuality?
Yeah,
However, social media, dude, you're out there, you're making videos, put it out there, like say that. Say, hey, I
yeah.
started it this way. This is what it is. You're not defending yourself. And I
Nah.
know you feel like you're kind of doing like you're
Give it more
like
backstory. Maybe that's my half step
there
that
you
I've had
go.
in all this. Like I didn't explain that. That's why I was glad to come
Ever.
on here.
And like I said, being hit in life enough, you kind of just like
Mm.
after a while, that's it. Like I'm
Yeah,
done.
bro. It's called fight or flight. Like
Right.
that's
And
really what
so
I
I
come from, bro. So
right.
it was
And
hard to adapt from like, yo, these people are coming at my neck. Let me come at their neck. Or let me level up and be a CEO and be massively successful and like be cool with everybody. Because at the end of the day, I do this because I love it. You know, I don't do it because I want to beef with people. I could have did that back in the hood in Philly. You feel
right,
me? So
right,
like
exactly.
nah, facts. So like I'm not infallible. We all are growing. And unfortunately for me, but maybe fortunately for me, depends on how you look at it. I'm growing right in front of these people,
So
everybody that watches. That's why
here's
I
what I
love
think.
all these people. I'm
Here's
30, bro.
here's what I think what we should do. I'm thinking sometime soon we gotta I will make a traditional awesome cheesesteak for
Yeah.
you, but you have to make a medium tri-tip reverse seared with a crust.
Okay.
And so we'll
I'll
try to
do
figure
that
that out.
under one condition.
Yeah.
You have to take one bite of the tri-tip cheesesteak. You have to. Just one. You don't have to indulge in it. You don't have to like it. I just want you to take that bite and tell me if I'm tripping, bro, because I've changed people's lives with this sandwich, bro. And I'm not saying you're ever going to start doing it that way. I just want you to get the experience of what it's about and then say, yeah, that's cool. I'm going back to medium rare. But like, I just want you to have that moment where you're like, okay,
and for
like,
me to close
okay. And
and for
then
me to
I'll do whatever you want with tri-tip, bro. You want me to do a traditional ribeye to medium rare, make you a cheesesteak. Like I'll make all the cheesesteaks, bro. But if you take one bite of that joint, like, bro, it's on. Like
but like I
we'll be
said,
friends
so
for life, bro. Because I respect you on a different level then.
to close out my end of that argument, like I said, very I guess analytical, or I see things logically, I guess.
Mm.
And for me, I'm just like, I don't see a point to it other than what you were using it for, right?
But
And I'm
that's
like,
the
there's
beautiful
just
part.
really
Like I
no
want to
point.
come to where you're at. I want you to cook me a Santa Maria and make it the best fucking one you ever made.
Right.
And then I want to go to Philly and take you up and be like, we're in the Eagles parking lot, and I'll make you a brisket style tri-tip, and then we could truly respect what's going on out here, bro.
Right.
Because I'm cool with loving the culture. Like cook it traditional. I need it. Let's get it. Let's do it. Like I'm all, bro. I'm here for it.
Yeah, heck
Straight
yeah.
up.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna feature you on the screen like I did earlier,
Yeah.
and just close it out. Let people, maybe a little White Bulls PSA. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but let people know who are listening or who are gonna watch later on. Something about you or just how you want to kind of close it out and
Okay.
maybe what your future is about. With that said, yeah, thank you, Blazing Start. With that said, I think this. The after party, I carry over to Instagram
Yeah.
and it's a little more laid back. It's not so whatever. We could just
Hell
do
yeah.
whatever.
I'll see
We'll
you
let,
over there, bro.
yeah. Okay. Good. 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 So we'll
Straight up.
start that in a little bit after this, but I want you to go ahead and close this out.
Okay.
Let the people know, kind of like whatever in the future of Right Bulls. All right.
Beautiful. Thank you,
All
bro.
right. Here we go.
All right, so shout out to Barbecue Steve. Shout out to Blazing Star Barbecue. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. You know I love you. You know it's all love. Kick today in the face. You know the vibes. As far as for White Bulls Barbecue, 2022, we're going up, and away. We're in 11 retail locations in California. We're working on getting to 100, maybe 200 this year. Doesn't matter. We're back in stock right now. The Rub for Beef, Rack City, 4 ribs are back in stock. The other 3 are soon to follow. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your support. Always growing, always humble, always hungry. Thank you once again, Barbecue Steve. I'll see y'all at the after party 2022. Up, and away. Straight up, we're out of here. So I appreciate you, Steve. I appreciate everybody. Let's get it. After party.
All right. Thank you. And have a good night, everybody else.